Hi, this is Paul Sollentrop from the Wichita Eagle and Kansas.com. We're churning through the Missouri Valley Conference travel channel here on our way to St. Louis, and I'm going to show you around one of my favorite stops, Peoria, Illinois, and Bradley University. I will admit to a full-blown case of nostalgia every time I cover a game at Bradley. Peoria's population is around 350,000, making it the MVC's fourth largest city. It's really got a great basketball history. Both high school and Bradley, and we'll certainly talk about that. It is a city dominated by Caterpillar, which has its world headquarters in Peoria, and like John Q. Hammond's in Springfield, or State Farm in Bloomington Normal, or the aircraft industry here in Wichita, its presence is everywhere around the university and around the community. The minor league baseball park is called Dozer Park, and there's a lot of examples like that. Bradley is a private, non-denominational school. Its enrollment is around 6,000. And Peoria is the kind of place where I always loved getting off the plane in Peoria's old airport, because I could envision the fans meeting the team when it came back from New York after winning the NIT in 1964. I usually stay downtown at the Père Marquette, which is an old, well-known hotel not far from Carver Arena. And I can imagine that that's the place where Oscar Robertson stayed when Cincinnati visited Bradley back in the 1950s. You can walk to Carver Arena from that hotel. There's a pizza place right across the street called Hoops, which is one of my favorite places to eat in the Missouri Valley Conference. And there's always a different vibe at Bradley than the other places in the Missouri Valley Conference, and I think that's because of Bradley's tradition and because of the downtown arena. It's even different than when Creighton was in the Valley. Creighton, for all its success, always felt like it was kind of new and flashy, much different than Bradley, which is a lot more old school and, I guess, gritty for whatever that means. One of my highlights of covering Wichita State basketball, I started in 2005, 2006, and one of my best memories playing pickup basketball at old Robertson Fieldhouse with the television announcers Craig Steven and Bruce Hurdle, and Brian Proct, a former Wichita State assistant athletic director. Bradley played at Robertson Fieldhouse from 1949 to 1982, and it was one of those arenas that had one of those raised floors where the players and coaches had to walk up steps to get on them. I guess one of those places where I think Dick Versace compared it to playing on a stage, where you had to walk up there and you really felt like you were in the spotlight. And that's the building that housed much of Bradley's impressive basketball tradition, and it's one of those places where you walk in and you can just kind of feel and hear and sense the old sweat and the pep bands and the smoke and the Converse All-Stars. They tore Robertson Fieldhouse down a few years ago, and I'm really glad I had a chance to spend some time in Robertson. I actually covered a Wichita State women's game there. How tough was it to play at Robertson Fieldhouse? Oscar Robertson, he never won there. Wichita State's Hall of Fame coach, Ralph Miller, he went 0-12 there. While the recent struggles that Bradley's had have dampened the enthusiasm somewhat, I've always felt that Bradley is similar to Wichita State. Both of those programs really built their fan base with success in the 1950s and 1960s. Both programs dipped in the 1970s, and then they both surged back in the 1980s, and they were both main players in that really flamboyant, exciting period of Missouri Valley Conference basketball, where there are a lot of outspoken, big personality coaches and a lot of NBA talent. Bradley moved downtown to Carver Arena in 1982, so that downtown Civic Arena has seen its share of good basketball. The 1982 NIT champions played there. Hersey Hawkins played there. The 2006 Sweet 16 team, of course, played there also. With all the building going on around the MVC in the last 10 years or so, it's now one of the older arenas, and it shows its age. And in some ways, it's not quite as bright. The concourses are smaller, and it doesn't have some of the amenities that some of the newer places do. I wouldn't call Carver Arena a negative. It's probably not as much of a plus as it was when it was built, compared to the newer facilities in the MVC. They do a nice job of displaying Bradley's basketball tradition around Carver Arena. To address some of the issues with Carver Arena, Bradley recently built Renaissance Coliseum on campus. It's right on the site where Robertson Fieldhouse was, and it's a good upgrade from a space standpoint. It gives practice gyms for the for the men's basketball team and the women's basketball team. They play their home volleyball games there. They play their women's basketball games there. And they play one or two men's basketball games there. It seats about 4,200, and playing men's basketball games there's a little bit of a sore spot with some of the Bradley fans who don't feel like that's a proper place for them to play. Renaissance Coliseum also houses offices, locker rooms, weight room, training room, and they did a real nice job with their history display in Renaissance Coliseum. And if you're ever in Peoria, it's worth making a trip on campus to look at that. It's got a lot of displays about the basketball tradition and other sports at Bradley. Okay, we are through 8 of the Missouri Valley Conference schools. We have one left. That'll be Loyola, the newest member of the Missouri Valley Conference. Thanks for watching.